also congratulate you on the giant strike, the milestone move that you did with him. We're all happy about it. It gladdens our heart, and it's always nice to support and salute the corridor of professionals who take on new roles and new challenges. So, on behalf of the team, I'd like to congratulate you once again and say it's a nice move and a welcome development. I'd like you to tell us a bit about how the project came on stream. What has been your idea of
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity and for all the support all through the years, for what you do for the entertainment industry too. I must say that you happen to be one of the great inspiration that some of us see to want to venture into owning a media organization, private media organization, and taking the plunge. The journey started over over a decade ago, when I really set out to establish a radio station. It had always been a lifelong ambition for us to say, okay, after working in radio and TV, I want to end up possibly owning a radio or a TV station. And I think I had an experiment in about year 2000 when I first left that communication to set up at some production, an office in Ikeja. And it was just a production outfit. We had a studio, we were servicing radio and TV stations with programming and all of that. And we did that for about close to a decade before Aichiwale Udokos now invited me back in the early days of DASAT. That's the satellite platform set up by DAC Communication then, to midwife the launch of Faji TV then. But that journey didn't last. I think it was on air for about the whole of DASAT was on for about 2 years or thereabout before it was rested. And then we moved on to Faji Radio and all of that. But before I went back to Aichiwale Udokos, I had started the process of putting in for a radio license with the NBC. That experiment didn't work because I wasn't given the license. I didn't get the license. That was about 2008, 2009. The journey continued in 2010. It didn't work. Then I went back to that communication for 5G radio. That was 2012. But I continued. I didn't allow my spirit to be dampened. I continued to look for the opportunity, the avenue, whatever was needed for me to get a radio license. It was a long and tortuous journey. The support really wasn't there. The political support wasn't really there until 2022, when I eventually got the radio license. And from that 2022 till we birthed in, I think the license was 2021. Yeah. It was 2021. The license was 2021. Shortly after that COVID. So then to not get the funds, to bring in the equipment, to set up was very difficult and tough one. But we were able to manage to get some funds from friends, from family, to put everything together. And then we birthed, started test transmission in August, and we launched in October 2023. So we've done a year and a month plus now. All the while we're just planning and managing it on the micro level, because the fund wasn't really there to really do everything we would have loved to do. So, and here we are. Immediately I retired from that communication October 31st. We now had the public presentation on November 1 to say, yeah, here we are fully on the ground.
So what would be the focus of the radio station?
It's purely entertainment. Of course, there's no way we can talk about entertainment without talking about news, current affairs, and all of that. But presentation and everything will be in such a way that to not be too hard. From what I've done over the past 2-3 decades, entertainment has been my real area of strength. Of course, I also do talk shows. I know about talk shows and I've managed talk stations and all of that. But in an urban area like Lagos, yes, people want to talk, people like talk. But I think what really goes, what can sell more is something that is soft, like the Soft Cell magazine, that people they don't want to be, really tasked about having to think about. So our programming style and slant is basically entertainment. Of course, we have a little of news, a little of current affairs, but it's entertainment from morning to night in terms of programming, in terms of the content, in terms of what we do. And we parade some of the best hands in the industry. Even though we're also giving room for the younger ones to also grow, and we're grooming them to also become great someday along the line. And they're really catching up. But we parade some of the best when it comes to the entertainment segment of broadcasting, the top content, or quality top content of broadcasting. We value some of the best that have been with me on the journey for about 2 decades or more. We have been together, and so we know the areas of strength and where we can use them in actualizing the vision and the goal of the station.
In terms of career, how many years have you put in?
Close to 40 years, because I started broadcasting. My first journey into broadcasting was February 1, 1983. In between, I went to school, came back into broadcasting, but I've done broadcasting all through. At the Federal Radio Corporation, OGBC in Abeokuta, and Great Power, and now Smailz Radio.
And what has kept you going all these years? Why stick to broadcasting? Has that been periods you just felt like, okay, let me go and do something else and not broadcasting?
There has never been any time when I thought of doing something else. It has always been broadcasting and, getting better on the journey, acquiring knowledge, and developing what I've learned along the way and giving the best. So it has always been broadcasting. Of course, there are moments where you say, okay, am I really getting the best out of this? There are moments where you query really those low moments. You feel that, okay, I don't know, this has been like a very challenging moment when you find it so hard to meet and pay your bills. Then you start questioning yourself. And possibly you see some other young lads and they say, are we not on this same line? Are we not pushing enough? But I think along the way you now say, okay, yeah, it's not been too bad, may not be too good, but we're okay, we're good.
You're coming in at a time when radio broadcasting and even TV is transiting from maybe what I would call the old way of doing things to the new one now with social media and all of that. What's your strategy to tackle that transition?
Well, the point is that if you don't leverage on new technology and the reality of the moment, and you are not in tune with what is happening in the broadcasting ecosystem, in the social media ecosystem generally, then you'll struggle. You're going to be left behind. What we have done first is to say, move away from the old radio, where you just people the whole environment with staff, with this thing, and then outsource what you can outsource, have limited manage your overhead in such a way that you can still deliver on the goals and objective, uh, with little resources, leverage on available technology, and then know that the ecosystem has changed. Pre-COVID, people were going to the cinemas. But now, what you want to see at the cinema, most of the time, you can see in your house or your mobile devices and all of that. Pre-COVID, if you don't get to the studio, you cannot broadcast, except you carry your big gadgets out for the outside broadcast assignment. You have a big truck parked outside where you have all the mixes. But now you can do everything on your mobile devices and still transmit. This interaction that we are having, you can broadcast it on TV station. You can take the audio as we're talking, you can take the audio from here and put it on radio station. And you may not even go through the studio. You just go through the transmitter. There's a device that you put there. One guy will just, I can override my transmitter from here. I can override my transmitter from this, and then start playing music from this mobile device. And nobody will know. That is the present reality when it comes to broadcasting. And what we're doing is to try to teach some of these younger ones that we're using on how to use some of these gadgets to do radio, to override things and do things, still following the same principle, the same philosophy of broadcasting and all of that. So any radio station that is not thinking along that line, any broadcast or media organization that is not thinking along that line is you will just be lost in the shuffle. For example, maybe some 2 decades ago or a decade and a half, you were only publishing the hard copy. Now you have moved to the soft copy. You have moved into maybe quasi TV. You have moved online. If you continue to publish the hard copy, you have people picking it up. But if you're not leveraging on the technology, you're likely to be left behind. The same principle applies to radio and TV and other media. Some people are not doing it right. If you go online and you see all kinds and manners of radio and TV stations online, and then you're also in that ecosystem. Like it or not, you're competing with them. Even though they don't have the physical presence within the environment, within your ecosystem, but they're there. They are broadcasting and competing with you. A station, for example, in Australia, that is online, is competing with you in Lagos here. If he's able to deliver content that maybe some people would love to listen to in Lagos. And then they just take maybe snippets of some of these things that they do, they push it online, and as long as they get followers, those followers, the likelihood of some of them tuning in every day to that Australian radio is there, and they will just ignore you if you're not doing it right, if you're not getting it right. The average listening span used to be 15 minutes, way back to radio, that people can stay and listen to radio. But now it's maybe 15 seconds to 30 seconds. They punch it. If you're not giving them the right talk, you're not giving them the right stuff, they are moving on to the next one. And you go by the days when people tune this way, just a matter of budget. You can even, some devices, you just voice it. Give me this FM. And the thing goes there to that FM. If that is not satisfying enough, you say, give me city people. It goes to city people. So you need not waste energy in tuning, in turning any knob and all of that. So you have to not only be available, but you must be present. As a player, if you are available, and the coach decides to use you on the field, you are available and you get to the field, you are not present, the coach is not likely to use you in the next match. So as a radio station, you must be available, you must be present. When you're available and present, then what kind of content are you giving them that can keep them? Who is delivering that content? Those are the key elements that will make any radio and TV station to survive, or media organization to survive in the present ecosystem. Because the advertising budget is shrinking, and the poor state of the economy. The first line that people want to cut is advertising. They say we have goods in the stores. Until we're able to sell, we may not have money to advertise. Because at times, when people advertise, they're advertising for competition. Because if you're not producing enough and you're advertising the little that you have, once they can't get it, if you're advertising something in Lagos, or advertising in Ibadan, for example, or maybe close in Ijebu here, and they can't get the product in Ijebu, they're likely to go for competition. They will go for the alternative. So most advertisers will say, okay, you know what, let me limit my advertising to Lagos, low budget, so that I don't advertise for competition. So it's a very tough lesson. But the only way to stay afloat, and I keep telling my colleagues, is that, well, we need to work on our content, we need to work on the people that deliver our content, and we need to work on the technology of the delivery of our content. If we're able to get those three right, then we can then start talking on the pricing and then the other deliverables that will make advertisers to want to patronize. Because in Lagos area, you have over 70 radio stations, both within and those that are beaming in from outside Lagos. We are located in Arepo, which is what we call the Greater Lagos. Ota is also part of the Greater Lagos. Any station that is in Ifo is also part of the Greater Lagos because we beam into Ota. So any station that is even in Badagry is also beaming into Lagos. So the competition is very, very steep. And we also have some stations that are even situated on the borders of Oyo State that are also beaming into the market. So the competition is so steep, and the only way to stand out is to know what you're doing, prioritize what you're doing, and be strong on content.
From license.
Yeah, licenses are city-based now.
Okay.
They just give 2 kilowatts.
Okay.
Go back the days of 5, 10 kilowatts. The early days of rail power 30 years ago, I think it was 30 kilowatts, and then was reduced to 10 kilowatts. Later, some licensees were given 5 kilowatts, and then now, I think in the last decade or so, it's been reduced to 2 kilowatts, city-based. So if you're in Lagos, you can only cover Lagos. If you are in Arepo, you're supposed to cover, 10 kilometers radius? You are not even expected to cover from Lagos to Badagry or from Lagos to this. So you are giving maybe 10 kilowatts radius. If you are in Badagry, 10 kilometer radius. If you are in Ibadan, you're not supposed to get into Lagos because there's no way you can push your 2 kilowatts beyond 2 kilowatts to get into Lagos. So licenses are city-based, and then to avoid overlaps, what they do is that if they give 107 point whatever in Lagos, they make sure they don't give that 107 point in any other place that is so close where frequencies will start jamming.
Over the years, we've had so many radio stations come on stream.
Yeah.
Were you worried at any point that with the way things are going, like you were trying to explain, if you try to dial now, almost every dial will make its own station or the other. So were you worried that how would I be able to cope with the load of
I was never worried. What will give rise to worry is when you are not experienced on the job, when you have not this thing. When we came up with Faji FM about 12 years ago, the market was also somewhat saturated. And we just defined what we wanted to be and the market we wanted to serve. And we came on stream with the type of programming that we want people to listen to and how to drive the audience. So, at the point of granting the license, ordinarily I would have been discouraged, knowing that as at that time maybe there were about 45 to 60 stations around Lagos. But I knew that this was my dream, this was what I wanted to do, and it was important for me to just continue and get to the final point. Giving up was really not an option. One thing is this: I will cut my overhead, and then. But for the challenge of the running costs, the issue of diesel, electricity, and all of that, every other thing is. I think the total number of people that are running the station, we're not up to 10 that are running the station. Our news is outsourced. Marketing is outsourced. What again? Engineering is somewhat outsourced. So we don't have any big space. You know what it is when you occupy a very big space and all of that. And as I said, in my house in Abeokuta, because I live in Abeokuta, I have a small mini studio. So if I want to override them in the transmitter, I just go online and write. The transmitter will pick it up and do it. If I'm in the UK and I want to override this thing, I'll do. This interview that I'm conducting here, I just need to set up and we have our interview, and the transmitter will pick it up. That is the so I think that I will have to rely on software and technology to do that, and not on the big gadgets, on the big space, on human beings just running around, and not at the end of the day, if you weigh what they are giving and what they are doing in terms of productivity, it is just 10% against what they are earning, and at the end of the month they want to earn. So I was never at any point discouraged. I even had a discussion with a colleague in the NBC and said, "You can just give me license and give license." He said, "Brozuma, you know what? In New York alone, there are about 650 radio stations. So what are you talking about?" I said, "But Lagos is not." I said, "Go and find your space. Go and find your space within that spectrum. Just find your space and hold it there. And then people will patronize you. Just your content, who is delivering your content, your marketing, and then just hold that market, and then manage your overhead. Instead of buying 10 cars and saying this is head of engineering, this car, head of business, use that money on software. Use that money on software and train people how to manipulate and use the software. And you have to be ready.
So let me ask you this. Before I ask you've not even mentioned the name of the radio station. It hasn't reflected on.
Okay, the radio station is Smailz Radio, 98.7 FM. Smailz is a coinage from Smailz, as in smile, smile, the younger brother of laughter. Why Smailz? This was a name coined by my son, the youngest in the family, even before he went to the university to study mass communication. And so when it came out, what are we going to call the station? We decided to say Smailz Radio. So we made efforts to register it with the trademark, and said, okay, I think there was a station already registered as Smailz somewhere in the east, also in southeast. I said, okay, we still want to maintain Smailz. Okay, why not just change the spelling and then still connote the same thing, which is Smailz. And the essence is bringing Smailz morning to night to people. Okay. And so that's the essence.
What about your content? We have about 40 stations.
Don't even say 40, it's 60, over 60.
So we have over 60 FM stations in Lagos. What are you doing differently in terms of content? Because if I want to listen to a political content, I know where to turn to. What are you doing different in terms of program? Do you have any specific or a particular program you are doing that to attract people to your?
If you want to listen to political content, you know where to tune to at a time.
Yes.
And I'm challenging that. I'm going to challenge that. I'm challenging that to say you have to start changing. The days of bounded loyalty to radio station is changing, or to a particular medium is changing. If, for example, I'm able to bring an Emefiele on a morning show, and you listen to Emefiele on my morning show today, I can bet you that tomorrow you are not likely to go to that your station that I know where to tune to.
That's true.
So, what do people look out for in radio, and how can you best serve it? Everybody is playing music, everybody is talking on radio. But I keep telling people that I train, it is not that people don't love talk, but they want quality talk. It is not just talk. If you listen to radio, everybody is just talking frivolities. People don't even have the details and the knowledge of what they are talking about. And they just go on radio and they start talking. They start talking. Oh, EFCC seized 753 houses. Bam. We are talk to us, blah, blah, blah. Without even knowing the nitty-gritty of that thing. Oh, tax reform. Everybody's talking tax reform. And then you open the phone line, and somebody who is a regular commentator on virtually every topic and everything comes on air. Is a regular. You talk Adire, the difference between Adire from Abeokuta, the one from Osogbo, and Chinese Adire, he's there to talk. He's an analyst. You talk of the challenge of the social media to the traditional media, he's there to talk. And you want to talk tax reform, they are still bringing the same person to come and talk. People say, is it the only person that has that knowledge of this thing? So, as a broadcaster, you have to look at, okay, what do people want? How do you serve them? If I make a very wonderful meal, Chinese, whatever, for the morning breakfast, and I'm ready to serve it, if I serve it on a broken plate, you will eat it, but the next time I invite you to breakfast, you're not likely to come. Because you're going to feel insulted to say, what's going on? Why are you serving me on it? Whereas if I serve you, say, you're going to drink garri this morning with none, and I serve you on a china plate, well decorated, with AC on, with this, if I invite you next time, will you come for breakfast? You are likely to come. Why? Because you say, he's not likely to serve us garri. Maybe you just wanted, So it is not what you are giving, it is how you are presenting and who is presenting it. While I was driving in, I was watching an American who flew, what's his name? What's this, our airline now? Airpiece, and he was doing an analysis and I said, the meal, this thing, hospitality, not too bad. But the lady that served me was not the appropriate person or something. This one was that she didn't have the requisite training to serve. It wasn't about the meal. That he just woke up from a nap and was 1 hour to London. And so the lady just came and was holding a warm towel, and she didn't even ask to say, oh, hope you enjoy your nap. How are you? Blah, blah. Do you care for something? Blah, blah, blah. She didn't, she wasn't engaging. She just wanted to give him that thing and then serve.
And move on.
So it is not what you're serving, it is how you're presenting it, how we are serving it, and who is serving it. So that will stand us out. In the industry, you cannot wish away the impact that, for example, Bagboy has had in the industry over the years. Abe Fagboro in the industry over the years. Consolibedo, Yemi Shodimu in the industry. A gentleman called Ambrose in the industry. You cannot wish away what they have done in the industry, and they still command large followership. It is knowing how to plug them in and then tell them what to do to deliver the audience for you. And then, okay, so who again? The younger generation. You don't want to leave them out. Okay, bring them on board too and tell them what to do, teach them what to do, let them have a hands-on on what to do so that you can have a chunk of that audience. because leaving them out, believing that they belong to the social network and the social media, I think is a wrong concept and notion. They also want to be part of radio, and they drive the audience on the social media. So if you involve them, they would have the audience for you. They make that visibility available for you. So it's a potpourri of everything.
Yeah, I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Will Baba going to be part of?
It's not would be. Is part of. It's part of. He holds every Thursday morning 9 to 11, and Yemi Ajude 9 to 11. I know that the industry will give me credit one day.
Okay.
But when I came with 5 FM, what I did was to bring about what I call the rainbow style of programming, as against the mosaic type of programming. The mosaic type of programming is in the morning you have Coco Nuweroing from 7 to 7:30, then 7:30 to 7:45 you have exercise this morning. 7:45 to 8 you have what now? You have let's say insurance today. At 8 o'clock you have sports mix. At 8:15 to 8:30 you have the so all kinds and manners of programming, everything like a mosaic thing,
Okay.
everything being there. And so people are, okay, what do I want to really listen to? And then when Faji started, we started morning, you have Oyela, Monday to Friday, although presented by different individuals, but it's the same program. Then between 10 and 12, yeah? 10 and 12, you have Ishaya, presented by different individuals. 12 to 2, presented by different individuals. So there's uniformity. You know, if I come onto the station, this is what I'm going to listen to. And without interruption, free-flowing entertainment, free-flowing chit-chat, music, things that make you, that connects with you. And so what we have done here, instead of doing Yoruba and Pidgin, and what we have done on Smailz is okay, English and then Yoruba with some, Pidgin thrown in here and there, but not really, unlike 5G, which was Yoruba and Pidgin. What we've done is to say English and Yoruba. Looking at our location too, because that location is also very, very important.
What's the location?
We're in
Aripo.
and then we, as I said, 10 kilometers radius. You have people in VI, in Lekki, in Ajah, Ikorodu, like that, and then up to Abeokuta, some part of Ijebu, Ota, Ifo, and then like that. So the audience mix is also very, very important in terms of programming. You cannot program below them. You cannot program above them. You have to come to their level and represent them.